So, welcome to today. I'm Christine.
I'm Liz.
And we are Double D-Fense. We're an all-female New York Rangers podcast, bringing you fun conversation about our New York Rangers, the NHL and hockey, and so much more. Thank you for joining us.
That was a girly voice. That's a weird one. All right, maybe tell me never to do that again. That was weird.
Christine.
I don't even know what that voice was.
This is definitely staying in for the open. How are you doing? We're both back. So Double D-Fense is back. We are back post Four Nations.
Where did we go? Did we go anywhere? Yeah. I didn't go anywhere. You did.
So. Mentally, we were somewhere else. We were in Sweden, Finland, Canada, Boston.
I may have celebrated in Canada in my dreams somewhere.
Yeah.
So
with Mike Sullivan.
I guess. Oh, I did. Apparently, I did celebrate.
You did.
That was a really good dream. So, I not to go into real details, but I had a really nice dream date with Mike Sullivan. So, thank you in advance, Mike. I appreciate it.
Well, don't forget, you were tuning into Double D-Fense. We are your all-female New York Rangers and NHL hockey podcast. So you are going to get a female perspective about the game of hockey, and that may involve Christine's dreams about Mike Sullivan.
Whew, that was good.
Whose birthday it happens to be this week, which I know because we share the same birthday. So we'll wish Mike Sullivan, if he's listening, a very happy birthday on February 27th.
How interesting is that? And of course, to you, a very happy birthday in advance. So since I'll be traveling during your birthday, so I'm going to be all FOMO'd out, from your get together. So yeah,
that's okay. I appreciate that. We've had a lot of good stuff to celebrate. And now I feel like as Ranger fans, we're all kind of like coming back down to earth to figure out what is the rest of this season going to look like.
When you're enjoying it too much.
Yeah. We had a little too much fun during the Four Nations.
I think so. I think everybody did too. I saw Igor was at like basketball games or whatever. I think they all should have been practicing a little bit more and getting a little tuned in. So we are back from the break. We had a wonderful game on Saturday where we just, I think, what did they say? They said that the last time they had 8 goals scored on it was over 6 years ago. So we're breaking records in the wrong direction, guys. So last year we started kind of picking up the speed and going in a different direction. So, and luckily the Penguins got just as smashed, maybe not as smashed, by the Capitals. On Saturday as well. So when we played them on Sunday, we had a chance and we pulled through for that, which was good. So tonight, you've got the Battle of New York. So that was I found a nice New York versus New York kind of beer, which is great. I also found that one of my favorite breweries out there were closed down. So that's unfortunate. Mm-hmm. But you got the Battle of New York going on tonight. Bonus points if someone can punch Tony DeAngelo in the face for me. I don't like him. So, like if anyone does that, sends me proof, I don't know. I'll find something to give you.
So we're recording on Tuesday afternoon. It is just before the Rangers take on the Islanders, which is, in the grand scheme of things, a huge game and very meaningful toward this possible wild card race. So just really quickly, where we're at in the East. The Rangers and the Islanders right now are out of the wild card spot. The wild card right now, Detroit has 64 points and they're in the first wild card spot. Ottawa has 62 points in the second wild card spot, followed very closely by Columbus, Boston, the Rangers, Islanders, Canadians, Flyers, and the Penguins. Like realistically, if you're looking at the East, maybe only the Buffalo Sabres are somewhat out of it, but even that they're not mathematically eliminated yet. So every game is going to be important.
Just like when we have 10 minutes to go and we're 3 goals down, there's plenty of time.
Exactly. Exactly.
But
And
the Islanders are right on our heels. They're literally right behind us, like 1 point down. And, that makes it a critical win. We lose, they jump ahead of us. We win, we're kind of tied in that spot. We're not going to be in that spot because I don't think I think we're going to be one out, but we're right there, and that's where we need to be as we kind of, again, they're coming up on this road trip that we'll be talking about next time too. And, and we kind of, the expectation is I want to see more physical, play with these guys to even handle this road trip coming up. So,
well, it's going to be really big, and sort of just in the spirit of entering this last home stretch of the season, Christine and I have for you today our top 10 list of the things that we think the Rangers need to do in order to make the playoffs this year. So we're going to take you through numbers 1 through 10 and chat about each one. We'd love to hear any more from you guys if you have some thoughts about what the Rangers actually need to do in order.
I'm sure we can double that, with some input from other people too. So that'd be great to hear feedback.
And I'll tell you, this list was actually longer and we had to whittle it down. That's how many things that the Rangers need to do better in this last.
Tie their skates. Drink more coffee.
Yeah, and I'm even looking at the list, so there's no 9 on here.
Go ahead, you can start.
So number 1, and I think Christine and I agreed on this in different ways, and this is
are we going top down or bottom up?
We're going to go 1 through 10 because all of these things are equally important. There is not one. I would argue that there is not one of these things that is more important than anything else because the Rangers need to do all of it in order to even have a chance. Exactly. So my number 1, and this is based on something that you were posting because of the game that we just saw, where VC scored. Where has VC been for a long time? So my number 1 is to review player ice time and really critically look at why we're playing certain players. Laviolette, why are we playing certain players and not other players? Clearly, VC has been missing from this lineup for a long time. We haven't seen him in a long time, and then he gets on the ice and scores.
Yeah.
Where has that been? So to me, that's a big one.
We kind of saw this too, and we talked about this in the playoffs last year too, right? So where that third and fourth line, we're producing better and getting better results. Yet, like they, the top guys, the top 2 lines were being favored more, and now when we're seeing Cooley scoring and VC scoring, and you kind of get these other players in there, it's like. But I turn around and I look at the ice time that they're given, and it's considerably less. I mean, so it's like put them on the ice more. I don't understand that, and so it's just the way my mind works in that logical way.
Whatever they've been doing up until now really hasn't been working that well. So you might as well try to change it up with players that are obviously performing. And I love VC getting out there and scoring. To me, that was such a great moment. And I hope that the Rangers recognize, that kind of talent and make those decisions.
I saw somebody posted it. I saw someone post it on Facebook too. And I was like, somebody actually agreed with me. And I'm like, this is so nice. They're just usually so crybaby-ish, and you say anything, and they're like, people are allowed to vent, and I'm like, go home, quit your crying. And they're men, so it's like kind of man up and kind of own it, So again, people were posting like, oh, I just got home. Is it really 5-0? I'm like, you're watching it, so get over it. Somebody actually posted a similar thing, like, play him more. He's earning it. Play him more. I think we mentioned this on the previous podcast too. Like he was benched, and actually he made a comment. So I'm like, oh my God, is he going to get traded? So and then finally he's kind of coming out, and they're kind of playing him more. So I'd like to see more of that too, because he's saying something because he wants to prove himself more. But you can't prove yourself more if you're not getting on the ice and you're not getting that time.
Totally. Okay, Christine, do you want to take number 2?
Oh, what's number 2? Let's see. How I got to get to it. Remind Dfense. This is your thing. Yeah,
this is my thing. I'll take it. I will take it. I'll happily take this one.
Wait. You have it. You have a 2 on there. So, am I going out here? No. Which order are we going in?
We're just going 1 through 11.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
there's
So
no nod.
remind defense of fundamentals. And I think
Yes.
are you kind of meaning like maybe face this direction as opposed to the other direction?
Yeah. How about, hey, Condre Miller, don't knock pucks in off your ass into our goal. That's a
I mean,
pretty
hey,
that's a pretty basic one.
he's
That's a
talented.
pretty talent is not the word I'd use for it. No, I mean, I think that there's some really basic defensive drills that the defense really needs to go through. I don't know what's happened. Everybody seems like they've regressed. That was a word that our friend John Chick, who does Locked On Rangers, was using the other day, and it totally makes sense for the defense. These guys have regressed. Go back to basics. When things get challenging, go back to basics.
Yeah. I mean, look, before we went into the break, the defense was just really good, and we were seeing kind of the improvement of that, and they were playing really well, and that's what we want to see. So I think it added to the disappointment of kind of ending it on a high. With we had 1 or 2 losses, but especially with Miller coming on board, we were seeing we were seeing hope. And that's kind of where people are now. It's like, are we losing that hope, or are we going to have it? So, I think I'm afraid I'm going to say something that's on the list. We're seeing like cross-ice passes and stuff where people are picking it up and we're getting scored on, right away. And again, these quick goals within the first 5 minutes are just, I mean, for me, it's over. If a goal gets scored, that quickly, and it seems to be that it's been a bad trend on Igor's side on that one too. So defense has to step it up, and they can't rely on him. And that was the thing on the game on Sunday, is actually he played really well, and he saved that game, So we do know what he's capable of, but he can't be saving the team. Defense has to do their job.
Totally. Number 3, I am going to let you take, because I can just hear you screaming this at the television.
So shoot the puck. You shoot the puck. I think I spent years yelling at the Kings, like going to Kings games where they just have a tendency to pass like 10 times before they shoot the puck. And now we're like, especially Sunday, I mean, the amount of shots that they even took was dismal. Luckily the shots that they did take were quality and kind of went in, so we got kind of lucky on that side. But right now, that's what you got to do, to kind of get anything on the board. And when you're scrambling to kind of get into that playoff spot, Igor can only do so much. I say it all the time, our goalie does not win the game. We got to do the other half of the ice and make it productive. So, there's how many times have we been seeing in the last couple of games where we're getting some breakaways, and instead of taking the shot, they pass it back and then they mess it up. So, and then, I think there was a play or something happened, and I screamed, and there was somebody on in the crowd there had a scream that sounded like me. And I felt the energy just going all the way there, 3,000 miles away, for that. So, it is something that I yell a lot, and probably the main reason why I don't watch games in public. So yeah.
I will agree. One of the things that I think has been very obvious with this Rangers team is they actually don't have a lot of those like dirty goals with a lot of traffic in front of the net. They're not very good at generating those chances, but those chances are generated from when you shoot the puck and there's a rebound to get. There can't be a rebound without you having shot the puck in the first place. And I think that they're forgetting. They're all trying to get into like some kind of perfect scenario before they take that shot. There is no perfect scenario. The other teams are too good. They have to take the opportunity when they can.
I'll tell you, it's one of the things I love watching about the women's games is like they'll, and maybe it's momentum or something that maybe men don't do as well as the women do. But when they're coming up and they're taking a shot and it's rebounded, a lot of these women in the PWHL are picking up that rebound and scoring. So, and I know we did see a play like that, and it didn't score, but at least there was a shot, and then they pick up the rebound in a second attempt. So you got 2 shots on goal there. But I think we just miss all those opportunities without even trying to, kind of even take the shot to get that rebound. And then when we do have a good rebound, no one's in position. So so that like, and again, we're watching it from a bird's eye view. So I know we're not seeing it from where they're at. And it's a different perspective, but it's really frustrating when you're like, dude, if you were just a foot to the left, it's like, it's right there. You can see it. So
Totally.
it adds to our frustration. And a lot of times we're also seeing them doing this cross-eyed passes right there, trying to, again, be a little fancier. And then they lose the puck.
And that one's later on the list too.
Oh, okay.
We'll get there. That one's number 10.
Oh, that's just on the shooting side. I know there's a bigger deal with that one, so we'll go more into depth on that.
We have to go by. We're very proper in this podcast. We have to stick to the script all the time. Number 4, you may agree with me on this, you may disagree, but I think Igor needs to be woken up at the start of every game. You kind of alluded to this, Christine, when you talked about the early goals that he can let up. Yeah. He needs to turn up and he needs to be awake and ready to go. And we can't be chasing 2-goal deficits within the first 5 minutes, which I feel like has happened a lot. And he gets paid too much money. He's too good to be doing this. So he needs to either wake up or get there early and warm up. Like something has to happen first, because once he gets into his groove, he's great. But if he loses it, he can also tell Igor is obviously very sensitive. He's somebody who clearly lets emotions get to him for better or for worse. As a professional athlete, I guess you want some of that sometimes and some of it other times, but he needs to focus and we need him focused.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But I also think that these teams have his number, so to your point, like what we're seeing is we are seeing teams score on him within the first 5 minutes. So that's where there should be focus. He should know that they're coming at him and make sure. Now he has a boyfriend now, and I'm very thankful that he has a boyfriend who protects him. And that's Borgen. So I'm like, he's laying down his life for him, and it was the cutest thing where he's doing that. And then he was like tapping him, like, a bromance is born with these guys. And, and I love that happens. But in the discussion, I think these teams have his number on that. I mean, if we're noticing it, obviously they notice it. So it's like, I'm feeling these coaches are like, just get out and take the shot. And it's almost like a 60-70% chance if they score with a shot on the first 2-3 minutes and it goes in, there you go.
But then as a coach, shouldn't Laviolette be recognizing that maybe Borgen should be on the ice first thing?
I agree.
Because if these guys are going to go after him right away, know that and get somebody back there to help defend. If this is a weakness, like play to that. And try to combat it. And that's where, I think Laviolette needs to also be adjusting for what's actually happening instead of like the game that he sees in his own head.
I know. I don't get it. I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
That's why this podcast was born, because we have to come together to try to figure out what's going on here. And then
I'm like, I was coach.
Yeah.
I make them do laps.
It might not feel like it, but spring's right around the corner. Know how you can tell? Golfers are hitting the links and we have some tournaments to talk about. And if you want to do more than just talk, put your money where your mouth is. Get in on all the tee to green action with DraftKings Sportsbook. From Thursday's opening round through the closing round Sunday, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with tournament props, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. If you've never bet on golf before, it's easier than you think. Just pick something simple like a golfer to win the tourney and make your pick. It's that easy. Just checking right now, it looks like Scotty Scheffler is the favorite to win the PGA this year. Here's something special for first timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please Play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
I wrote this one in here because I think this is actually going to be something that is going to be important for the rest of the season. Number 5.
And it's sad.
It's hard. Number 5 is fan support. So as fans, we have been through the ringer this year. I saw somebody tweeted, it was so funny, I laughed out loud. Somebody tweeted that the extra effort award for this year for the Rangers should go to the fans because we've had to endure a lot. So what can we do to stay positive? I will be honest, like I have not been positive this season. I've even felt that if the Rangers do manage to make the playoffs, it almost feels like, just like this painfully unearned thing right now. But there's still a chance. There's still a lot of hockey left to play. How as fans, especially with some of the upcoming road games that you and I will be at, what can we do to show this team that we have not given up on them?
You stay off freaking Facebook. People are jerks. Every game is like, this is just abysmal. These people, like the words they use is just, are just like they're Googling, and using a thesaurus for these words. It's like when it rains here, it's drizzling, and you think that we're having like the worst storm of the year in the world. And so it's so over dramatic. I'm like, dude, it's a bad game. Like, move on. Who cares? Look, the support. Yeah, I mean, people just have to not be jerks. You have to kind of have faith in team. And here's the thing too. I think a lot of the fans set their expectations high for themselves to want to see this team do well for Sam, as he's retiring. And we've heard it throughout the season, like, do it for Sam, do it for Sam. And so I think a lot of people have that expectation in mind because that's what we would want to see and do. And we don't feel that the players are on the ice, like doing it for someone else. We saw, like, look at the energy and stuff we saw during the Four Nations game where they were defending and shooting for their country, and I was kind of talking about that, saying like, I would love to see them come back. And that's where I was really most disappointed where, because it was so, like uplifting and, and people just kind of really, it took a turn we never expected it to take. Like that final was amazing. And I wanted everybody to come back and play that level. That was my expectation to see. And then we saw a complete opposite of that. And so, so is it that we, as maybe New York fans, Ranger fans specifically, have higher expectations? Could it just be this year with the, the drama or, with the anticipation of not having, Sam do this again to kind of leave something positive with him? Probably all the above, So, the only thing you can do as a fan is be there for your team, win or lose, and then fingers crossed, the wins are more fun, so that's really that, all we can do. I mean, we do our job. We wear our merch. I have a whole wardrobe of stuff.
Yep. We rock our gear. We do it. Whether the Rangers are playing or not playing, we're to the supermarket. I texted Christine the other day. I was head to toe in Rangers gear, just doing my supermarket shopping.
Meanwhile, I'm out at the pool with my Rangers towel.
Yeah. And I just want to throw this out there. If anybody is looking for more Rangers gear to get their hands on, check out Double D-Fense on Fanatics. So if you go to doubledfense.com, that's double and then DFENSE.com, you can check out a link to our Fanatics store. And we will be bringing you some very curated products from Fanatics, some of our own favorites that we'll share with you guys. It's a great way to make sure that everybody knows that you are supporting this team.
And I love that shameless plug for like right smack in the middle of our top 10.
That's how it goes.
Yay!
Got to do what we got to do. Double defense is moving up in the world.
That's how fans roll. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. We, look, we got to be there, for them, and and we're gonna see, so I like watching the games, and yeah, that's another thing too. You're talking about fans, real quick. Last year, what I loved hearing and watching these games is how loud you can hear Ranger fans, in the crowds and any arena that we were playing at. So, wherever you're at, whoever's listening, spread the news, just be loud. Be loud so that we hear you watching it, because that drives up, our emotions and stuff too, to kind of, root more. And I'm always about positive energy too. So I'm like, you gotta send the good vibes and not like the other ones, win or lose.
100%. Yeah. Okay. Number 6, this one, again, I can hear your voice just saying this one. So take this one.
6 is, get more physical. Oh my God. Yeah. Look, it's a sport. Look, it's not just about looking pretty, guys. I know you are. So
there are a lot of pretty faces,
but we need brute. Again, we kind of touched on it with with this West Coast trip coming up. Hey, West plays very physical. Everyone knows that. You're not going to get through the Stanley Cup not without checking. So aside from Rempe, who's still learning, as he called him today, a giraffe on skates. And he's playing very cautiously, and I kind of actually, I'm liking the way that I'm seeing him play, because he's really trying to kind of get in there and do the things he's supposed to do. And I know he's nervous because one bad hit, and and they're just going to judge him, and then he's going to get suspended. So I mean, they're watching him really closely. We saw that in the other day when they had to review a hit, because they were saying it was a 5-minute, and luckily it was just down to 2. The refs were kind of favoring that game, which I don't like. But yeah, everyone's got to start getting a little bit more physical. Even, I want to see JT Miller kind of doing a little bit more of that. Trocheck doing a little bit more of that, although he might have been a little hurt. So
I'd like to see JT Miller do a little bit of what he showed in the Four Nations. He showed some pretty physical aggressiveness, and that was great. Yeah, Rempe just he can tap somebody on the shoulder and they will fall over and he'll have a penalty. So that will probably, I'm sure we'll see a lot of him on the West Coast road trip. But who else is going to step up and take that?
They're going to have to, or they're going to get slammed.
Yeah.
So it'll be a nice little learning lesson. But they, again, this is nothing new. It happens every single time. So if you're not doing it for yourself to kind of get through the rest of the season, you better start doing it to kind of get through this West Coast trip that you're taking. Because when you start playing the Kings, who are playing really well, and Doughty's back, and just won, on the Canada team. So they're hungry, and they don't like the Rangers. so everyone likes to yell. Everyone likes to yell how the Rangers suck when they're in LA. And I'm like, we're not even your rival, so leave us alone. So that I kind of we definitely would see more of that.
All right, number 7, move Kreider from the net. Those tip-ins are few and far between, and why use him on power plays when he's fast, but not play him that way on 5-on-5? So this was your note, and I totally agree with you. Yeah. Whatever he's doing now, it ain't working. So, and he's talented.
That's what Rumpy should be, He's bigger, he's bigger. Put him there. He doesn't need to move. He just needs to block. I don't know. Like, this is the way I raised my kid. That's why my kid was like, my son's the same size as Rempe. And they, that's where they put him. But I feel like he's just wasting Kreider's ability just to always put him in it. Yeah, I mean, it works, but it's not like, look, Mika's not even taking those shots, like those rocket shots he was doing. So, it works some of the time, but it seems like it's a go-to move every single game.
And the other teams know it. They already know it. So they already know how to break it up.
So we're seeing a trend of this predictability too in how we're playing, and that's gonna work against us every single game.
Yeah. Okay. I think you should read. I think you should read number 8.
So number 8 is. I think everyone needs to shave their heads. I forgot I wrote that an hour ago. So, but yeah, I think look. Panarin Aaron shaved his head and we were like, what? And then he came back on fire. Now his hair's grown back and he's the next number, I think, too. So, and then I know like Mika cut his hair, but I'm like, maybe everyone needs to just shave their head and then do a boot camp and then come back on the next game after a day off and then start over, because part of that, I feel like part of that shaving the head thing was kind of just revamping,
it's about lighting that fire. What is the thing that's going to light the fire for these guys? Shaving your head is representative of lighting that fire.
I volunteer to shave him. I'll shave him all. Whatever he needs.
Get Condre and his blonde hair. That needs to go. But I think you're totally right. I think you've hit the nail on the head. What's happened, and I think a lot of us Ranger fans felt that having this 2-week break for the Four Nations, the Rangers were going to regroup, come back together and go, okay, this is our run for the playoffs. How do we show up? And to have that game against Buffalo, the last place team, be such a blowout and really looked so low effort on the part of every single player that participated. Just as a fan, you go, okay, well, if 2 weeks off isn't going to jazz them up, if 4 of the guys playing for the United States on the Four Nations, if that's not going to jazz them up, what is going to do it? So you have to shave their heads. That's the only logical solution. Because otherwise, what's it going to take? Like, really, what is it going to take? What's happened to this team? Where has the culture gone so awry that they're not really coming together? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Look, ever since they started, ever since kind of Truba was traded, it's been a really kind of weird kind of vibe, because then you start playing well and it's like, oh, maybe that trade was good. You're like, Jury's a genius. And I'm like, maybe not. Let's wait and see. And now, and then something happens and now we're talking trade rumors again, so we have a trade deadline coming up soon. So we're going to see if anything happens to kind of get us through the rest of the season. And so, we don't know what's going on. I know that Steve, they were talking about confidence on this team. And I'm like, what confidence? I'm like, this is your job, kind of going to your point a lot. I'm like, this is your job.
Yeah. You're getting paid millions of dollars to do this.
I want my boss to be like, just when you get your confidence back, let me know. And then we'll work on that. I'm like, well, I don't get that chance, so, I don't know what that's about, so it's just, just things that they're doing. And I also can't even draw the line between a coaching or just the player ability to do stuff. So, I know they're going to mix stuff up again too. And that, again, that's kind of what my thing was too, is, you got to keep everything steady, because if you're going to communicate well or get that confidence that you're looking for, you're going to do it on a stable line where you can just wink or have a twitch in your eye and your teammate knows what you're talking about, and you do that, especially again when we seem to be very predictable. So we kind of I hope, Lovely, that you're listening, because this is what we need to be telling you. And you need to know. Otherwise, we're just going to keep yelling at our TVs, which is
I'm positive, Lovely. Let's listen to this. He wouldn't miss it. He told me. He called me and said, wouldn't miss Double D-Fense at all. And I need to know what number 9 is. So number nine on the list. And sorry, the list I sent you, Christine, was a little messed up. I forgot.
Okay.
So number 9, stop. This is yours. Stop the cross ice passes and any spinning. And I love this, because this goes back to what we were talking about. Actually shoot shots. Stop with the fancy passing. Stop with the spinoramas. I love when Sam and Joe call it the spinorama. Oh, they do a spinorama move. Stop. Don't need to do that.
And the back passes, drop passes. And they talk about that too. It's like they're real good east to west, but like that, east to west doesn't get you anywhere. You gotta go north south, and you gotta stop, because we get turnovers that way, and they're just not good. Look, you watch some of the other teams, like Jack Hughes, who's a puck hog, in my opinion. He takes the puck and goes right up the middle, and he does well. Actually, it's funny. He's like, he does well for his team, but he failed miserably in being able to keep up with the big guys,
Yeah,
in those
didn't he?
formations. But again, learning opportunity for stuff, so the thing is, we have that knowledge, we can do that kind of stuff. But in the last couple of games, we have seen some really good opportunities to take shots on little breakaways, and they're back passing, and then they're it just becomes a shot on goal, or they missed it altogether. So missed opportunities, missed potential goals, missed potential wins. So that we want to see more, like less of. You're only allowed to spin if you're doing well.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see nothing fancy. Just get it going, and stop and passes don't need to be like 10 times. Just take the shot. I scream
Again,
a lot
yep,
about
back to basics. Back to basics.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite is when you see them getting in that rhythm, especially on a power play, when they kind of get that rhythm going and they're moving forward, and then they're kind of passing that puck, and you can see that rhythm going. And that's when, I kind of know that they're going to score. It's that brief moment where I can see it all working well. They're all skating in unison, and they have each other in their sights, and it looks good. And, even from when they get the chance to kind of go behind the net and get that play started and then bring it all the way across. I love those little moments that you see where it's working well. And these last couple of games, it was horrific scrambling. They're not in any kind of formation. We look like we were on a penalty kill half the time, which is crazy. I'm like, where's the other guy? Well, I need to see all of you in my screen. That's what, and even the way that we're playing to kind of scramble and defend the net, in a penalty kill kind of formation. So we're lucky we won that one on Sunday.
Yeah, 100%. And there is going to be a fair amount of luck that's going to have to go into the next 2 weeks of game, or I'm sorry, the next 2 months of games.
Yeah.
But, at the same time, they have to create
D'Angelo, and then I'll feel better.
Yeah.
That's how you make your fans happy.
And then number 10, technically 11 on my list. Do you want to take this one?
Yeah, put out an APB for Panarin, and maybe a few other players, but
Panarin and Lafreniere. I would throw Lafreniere on there too.
Yeah, I'm like, look, I kind of wrote you. I'm like, I miss him and I want him found. So he's my jersey. Where is he? Where are you? And it's funny. We're not even, if you're listening to the games, we're not even really hearing his name. It's like, I know he's playing, but he's not there. So he's taking the shots, but he's not his normal self. And is it him, or is it who he's on the line with, and what's happening? Again, don't know the answers. I'm not even here to judge it, because they know where their faults are and what they have to do, but they have to do them. And that's what we want to kind of start seeing as more improvement on that. But yeah. So somebody go find him and bring him back and put him on, dress him up, he is cute without his clothes on, but dress him up and push him out on the ice like the way I taught my kids to skate, and just do I want to see him spinning. I want to see him getting the points and scoring, and then being able to spin, because not to spin until he starts scoring.
And I think Panarin's one of those players whose passion can be very infectious in a good way for the rest of his teammates. And we have not seen that. It's so funny when you were talking about not hearing his name. I was just thinking, I wonder if you could do some kind of AI analysis of literally the games from the last year, this season, and literally see, compared to last year, whose names are said more, whose names are said less. And I would argue that probably the only person's name who said more in a good way is going to be Cooley. Out of everyone on this team, he's improved from last year. Everybody else seems like a shell of themselves from the year before. So that is interesting. Where have these guys been? How do we get them back when we need them the most?
I don't see any kicks. I want to see a kick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you want to see that.
Make us happy.
I want to see Panarin drinking the guy's Gatorade while he's changing.
I've been seeing a lot of those. I miss those too.
Those were great moments. Yeah. And I feel like because he's stressed or whatever it is, the joy has been sucked out. Like there is not a lot of joy on that Rangers bench right now. Where is
Well,
that joy playing?
I bet it also could be they all feel like they're on the chopping block because we don't, I just get the feeling that everything's in Drury's head and he's making decisions. And, one step out of line or one thing this way, it could cost them because with him trading, Truba and Kako, who's by the way scoring and playing really well. So yeah,
and getting a lot of ice time.
And so like in trading these guys, it does upset your dynamic for the season, not just for a game, for the season. And who knows what's going behind closed doors. I mean, I'm not really seeing any more rumors at the moment, but knowing, I think we were talking about, or someone else was talking about it, where it's like if we keep up the winning streak, and right now, even though it was a bad game on Sunday, we're 50-50, coming back out of the break tonight.
I like your Ranger math is like my running math. It's like I was trying to make it more comfortable.
It's just the facts, I'm like, you gotta look at it that way. I'm a numbers person. So, we kind of build on that. But I think if we're winning and we're kind of got that 80%, going, then I think we can be in the home stretch. And maybe that's going to be a key thing too. So, if they're worried about a trade happening, then maybe they'll play differently after the trade deadline, which is coming up. So we could see that too. So these are pivotal kind of dates and times where I want to see a change, and I'm going to be looking for that as I'm watching the games to see if that matters. If we actually see a difference after the trade deadline, then you're going to kind of know. Because again, we saw 3 kind of unexpected, trades happening in exchange for, and again, not a bad deal because what we're seeing is working. So Vasilevsky's doing good, and Borgen's doing good, and Miller's doing good. So they're doing well, and they're kind of saying, I'm glad I'm here, and I think. I think JT Miller's got to go up a little bit better than Borgen because he's the one showing everybody like that he is trying to save this team single-handedly by putting his body in front of between the other team and Igor. So we want to kind of see more of that. So it'll be interesting to kind of this is where I get more analytical watching the games. So let's see what happens now that we're playing like this interdivision team against, especially New York, where they're right on our heels tonight, and then as we go into the trade deadline, and then as we kind of break it home, because we are all all those teams are right there. It's anybody's game, so it really is critical that we win and they lose. so at the same time, I know I'm out there watching, I'm like, lose, you got to lose, and so and not worry about the other teams and stuff. I know that like Washington's doing really Ovi's like 13 goals away. But, they put him on the ice for power plays and empty netters and stuff. He's going to get it,
Yeah.
I'm not that big of a fan about that, but it's a good accomplishment. So hurry up and do it and then retire so that other people can play and enjoy it more. So we want to kind of see that. So I'll be watching more ice time, excuse me, and seeing how they're going to play some of these more producing players, kind of how we started this off, which I
love it. Well, thank you for listening to Double Defense's top 10 list of what the Rangers need to do to make the playoffs. I think before we go, we wanted to just say a couple of quick words about the loss of Al Trautwig.
Yeah, so that was definitely, I know a few people died on the same day. Roberta Flack, Al Trautwig was another one. So very, a very sad and unexpected loss, and felt by a lot of people. We've been hearing from a lot of people, and this one kind of hit home more so that I don't know why I felt he was older, but not. He was 68 years old,
yeah,
and
young.
So I was like, oh no. So when they get closer by age, it makes me a little bit more nervous. But definitely a good guy, and definitely felt by a lot of fans and everything. And I definitely wanted to kind of put in a really kind of interesting fun fact that I'm trying to find my picture for it. That I kind of caught, which I absolutely loved. And it was, and I lost it, that his parents' home was like the house where they filmed Meet the Parents, the pool scene. And so it was really cute, where they're saying it's probably one of the coolest locations, to have, and it happens to be his parents' house. And, it was his house, I guess. And Steve Alquette had tweeted that it's a true story, and that Al's story about them overstaying their welcome, which is funny to think about it, while they were filming, and that Robert De Niro would not shake his hand. He said is absolutely priceless. So somewhere someone's got the details of that story that will be shared. And a lot of the videos going around about how they, they poured champagne down his back, after the Stanley Cup win, and that, he was saying it was the most beautiful moment, of having that cold champagne kind of running down his back was really a cute thing. So a lot of the people are sharing things still and kind of still processing it. So it's a very sweet moment, and kind of a and a hit to Ranger fans and hockey fans, because he was just well liked over all the years too. And another quick thing is that yesterday was the anniversary of the 1980 Olympics team, USA team winning the Stanley Cup, but the gold medal. And that's always a fun thing to kind of see come up too, because it's kind of what made me love hockey. When people ask me that, being on Long Island at the time, again, I think the game was like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. So I remember just being up early, and then I remember screaming out the window that they won. And not only did it make me fall in love with hockey, but I think I pretty much had a really big crush on Jim Craig too. So he was posting those memories, and as that's kind of coming up. So February 24th is always a really good day too. So the good points of the week, and there's, so a little bit of everything this week. And maybe we can end it by punching Tony D'Angelo in the face for me.
It would be a good cap. Well, we will
we'll
be back with you guys. We'll be back with you guys
let's
next
have a really
week.
good game. Let's get some points, and let's enjoy, and then we'll probably be back with another top 10 of why didn't you listen to us next time.
Exactly. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye, guys.